This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Rikky Morrisette, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, and the Amyrlin seat. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Madison Page and Kevin to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really couldn't do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 27 and 28 of A Crown of Swords.
Yeah, so chapter 27 is To Be Alone, and chapter 28 is Bread and Cheese.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, listen. It's been a while.
I was going to say that.
We took a break.
Yeah, we did.
We pre-recorded. It's been like 4 days for some people.
Sure. For us, it's been like 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah.
It seems that way, at least.
It's been about 2 weeks. I read these chapters on an airplane like a regular person who reads books.
Yeah.
And we went on an airplane without our children for the first time.
Yes.
So it was pretty peaceful to just sit and read during a flight.
It's a little unfortunate that these two chapters are like super short.
They were short.
You couldn't get one of those like 100-page chapters and just go to town, but...
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we might need a little bit of a recap. Like, I have a pretty extensive recap specifically for me.
Okay.
Because when I reread the chapters tonight for notes before we started here,
yep.
I was going, oh, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, right.
What are these guys doing even?
Because it's been a while.
Perrin. Who's this?
Well, and it's pretty funny, too, because when we get into the map perspective, it's like the same day.
Yeah.
The next instance from when we saw him last, which has been, like, not very long.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, it's been a long time.
Long time, yep.
So, anyway, okay. Why don't you start us off for tonight?
Yeah, so this one, I thought we might as well return to the Abu Dhar fun fact, because we've been here for quite a long time, and we know a little bit more about their culture, and the dueling thing that they like to do in Abu Dhar, and we're getting all this, like, red belt and healing and all these different things, but... This fun fact is thanks to Ben Butler, because a long, long time ago, he posted a comment on, I think, YouTube.
Ben Butler is a YouTube...
Yeah. Regular,
yeah.
So I dug into something that he commented on, so that's what we're talking about today. And it's going to be talking about the duels, and specifically the dueling knives and the scars that we see in Abu Dhar.
Okay.
Yeah, so... Because even for people like Queen Tylan, when we got introduced to her, she had the light dueling scars on her cheeks.
Interesting. Okay.
So here we go. This is a real life thing in the world, dueling scars.
Okay.
So they have been seen as a badge of honor since as early as 1825 and have many names, including the bragging scar and some other German words that I can't pronounce. And they were popular among upper-class Austrians and Germans involved in academic fencing at the start of the 20th century. So, just as a side note, academic fencing at the time was very different than modern fencing.
And is academic fencing where you have to answer a bunch of math questions while you're fencing?
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, that's
so I
what
didn't really dig into that, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
Reading a bunch of textbooks
whilst
and
dueling.
Journal articles whilst...
So here's the thing, though. This was a practice among university students, so it was seen as a mark of their class and honor to actually have facial scars. So people would have...
wear the cage
No,
mask.
And intentionally wouldn't, because they'd have older and more recent scars, some still wrapped in bandages, and it's all an honor thing. So it was a way that you could show that you have courage because you're able to stand and take a wound. So it's not just about being better at dueling.
Wouldn't that mean you were a bad fencer if you had a bunch of cuts
on your
face?
That's the thing. It's a two-sided thing where you not only have to be good at fencing, but you have to be able to take the pain of being injured. So that's why it's a status symbol. What if you're just so good
that no one could get you?
Then you do it intentionally anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because having scars showed that you had courage and you were, for example, good husband material. And while dueling scars should be obvious on your face, they shouldn't be so serious as to leave a person disfigured or lacking facial features.
No, because then they would be very unattractive.
Not good husband material, apparently. So, anyways... And here's the thing. I got some interesting amount of scars. So experienced fencers who'd fought lots often had lots of scars. And there's one specific duelist who died in 1877, fought no less than 13 duels, but...
That's a lot?
That's what I was thinking. But here's the thing. I want you to guess how many scars this guy had on his head, face, and neck.
From 13.
13 duels, how many scars? Go.
I don't know how high to go here. I know it's high.
I know.
But it's like, how high?
How high do you go?
You're going to be like, whoa, that was stupid.
You know, unless you get it exactly on, you're not going to win with me. So I'm just going to... Okay.
87.
You got to pump those numbers up. Come on. Let's go.
How long do duels last?
I'm not sure, but more than that.
512.
Oh, that's too many now. Now you're just going crazy. Okay. 137 scars. Okay. Crazy.
Oh, that was my next guess.
I know it was. Here's the thing. So sometimes students who did not fence... sometimes students who did not fence would scar themselves in imitation.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad.
And they'd pull apart the healing cuts to exacerbate the scars.
Oh no.
Or they'd pay doctors to slice their cheeks, but that was all frowned upon because those aren't real scars.
No kidding, cheaters.
And last thing about current day, there's still, to this day, currently about 300 fencing fraternities in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and then several other European nations, and those traditions still include dueling scars. So there we go. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Wow.
Not just Debudari.
All right.
All right.
Some European listeners are going to have to comment
have to explain themselves, number one.
Specifically about the academic fencing.
That's the best I got for you. So there you go. Okay, let's get back into it.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Not bad. Well, one of your best, I think.
Really?
Well, it's up there. I found it interesting.
Okay. It's been a while since you've heard a fun fact.
Maybe that's why. yeah, we're getting back into it here.
Okay,
so last time we were here, I wrote, what happened
something. Okay.
So Morghese declared bankruptcy.
She did.
By shouting it out.
Quietly to herself so no one else can hear.
Yeah. I declare bankruptcy.
Oh, man. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So she gives up her throne, sort of, very quietly to herself.
Yeah.
Does it count? I think not.
Sure.
She seems to think it does.
But more importantly...
I don't.
No, she escaped.
Oh, she escaped.
More importantly than her renouncing her throne.
Right, she
escaped.
Balwer helped her escape.
They all escaped. They all escaped as a little,
because
squad.
the Shanshan invaded.
The Shanshan also invaded the White.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's not even in my recap.
All the White Cloaks are out of Amadicia right now on their own little mission there.
Oh yeah, idiots.
Yeah, they left and the Shanshan swooped in.
Not just on their own little mission. An important mission to this chapter.
Yeah. Now you remember.
Now, okay, it's coming back to me.
Because they're going to defeat the Prophet.
So
all the White Cloaks stormed on out.
Yikes! That's bad news.
Shanshan came right in.
Is it bad news for our crew, or is it bad news for the White Cloaks?
Or is it bad news for the Prophet?
Good news for the Prophet, because the White Cloaks and Perrin's are
right.
They're just gonna fight.
More people to convert.
Ooh, yeah. Good
right?
call. Good call. Okay. I forgot. Okay, also the Shanshan invaded.
Yeah.
Amadicia.
Yes.
So that happened. Now we have Nynaeve and Elaine finding the Society of the Tower Rejects.
Yep.
The great and honorable, glorious Tower Rejects.
Yes, the illustrious.
The illustrious Tower Rejects. So they're known as the Kin.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, they were also attacked in the street.
Yep. By beggars, sort of.
By beggars, sort of.
Maybe.
Probably Dark Friends.
Yeah.
Probably definitely Dark Friend situation. Now, Matt has agreed to move into the palace and help them look for the Cloud Bowl. And Rand, it's been a minute, but the last time we saw him, he was doing Min.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a destroyed room. And that was after Rand had a bad time with an Aes Sedai named Cadsuane.
Yep.
That introduced herself.
Okay.
Very robustly.
Yeah.
And also Berylane was upset with him.
Okay. That's a lot of things that happened.
A lot of things that happened, but it all plays in here a little bit.
Yeah, and it's a good refresher for your brain and my brain. Because it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So here we go.
And plus we have to recap everybody.
That's true.
Everyone's doing a bunch of different things all over the place.
Oh man, plot lines, right?
Okay. Chapter 27. To be alone.
Sort of.
To be or not to be.
Yeah. He's not I actually really like how this chapter plays out. It's really comical in my eyes.
You know what?
It's really funny.
I was like, what the hell is happening?
We have to also talk about what the hell is happening, but it's really
one of those chapters that you read the whole thing through, and then you just feel you need to reread it to make sense of it.
Like, what the hell did I just read?
Once.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the chapter symbol's the wolf, and I was like, oh, great. But here we are. We're in Perrin's perspective.
Yeah.
We're checking in. And it's nice because we don't stay with it for 5 more chapters. We're just like in and out.
Snip, snap. There you go.
Snap.
Okay.
So Perrin is finishing getting ready by grabbing his weapons and his saddlebags, and he leaves the room that he and Fail have shared, and he thinks there were some happy times here.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, hasn't it been like a week, and most of that week has been Berylane literally torturing him?
Yeah.
And Fail being like super pissed with him?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. No, you're right about all that.
Unless it's been longer and I missed some of it.
It hasn't really been that
like
long.
It's been a little bit longer.
Like maybe
a couple days.
Yeah,
or something.
like a little bit. Not that much of a time lapse here.
I was just like, what did I miss? What do you mean you were happy? Because
also
last time I was here with you, things weren't good.
Yeah, and we were doing this back and forth thing in this chapter where it's like, okay, why is he leaving? And then we find out they're doing the back and forth time lapse.
Well, and then we get the Trixie reason why he's leaving.
Yeah, and I want to hear what your thoughts on that are because...
My original thoughts?
Yeah.
I was on Rand's side.
Yeah, get the hell out of here,
like,
Perrin.
Good. Fucking throw him against the wall. He deserves it.
Oh my goodness, okay.
I hate Perrin's whole protect the Ice and Eye crap. I hate it.
Okay,
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Now, Perrin does his whole, like, Eeyore, I'll never go back to the places I'm happy.
Yes.
You know, wah.
Very, very Eeyore.
And then he heads through the halls and he sees servants scampering away from him. And he thinks it might not be safe to loiter near a man whom the Dragon Reborn had unleashed his rage so publicly this very morning.
Yeah.
So no wonder the servants are running away from me.
Right. Have you noticed, so in the background of like the last bunch of chapters, we've been getting all these little hints about the servants and what they're wearing. And here they finally picked a color.
They're all in black.
They're all in black. It's been like a back and forth. They don't know what to wear.
It's kind of like Rand's color for like the Black Tower, kind of.
Yeah, it's like the livery, like the servants' clothing.
Livery?
Livery?
What did you just say?
I don't know. It's the livery? Livery? What do you call it?
Livery.
I don't know. Livery?
I don't know either.
Well, now we're just arguing with something I
don't
know
know. Say it in a British
about.
accent and it'll be right.
I'm not going to chat. Okay. The colors...
The uniforms?
Of House Rand.
Uniforms. Outfits.
Uniforms. That's the word.
Yeah.
Okay.
The work uniforms.
Black.
Black.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Fits his mood.
And also Black Tower.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we learn in this instance that Rand has picked Perrin up and thrown him against a wall with the power.
And it's been a while since Perrin's ever been picked up. So.
And thrown.
So here's the thing.
Perrin has been picked up and thrown before?
Well, maybe like scuffling in the Two Rivers, you can imagine.
Like in the water?
You know.
In the lake or something? I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
But people now can't because
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was helpful that Rand had the power. And he thinks he cracked a rib.
So that's the thing. That's what I want to talk about here because do you think... It seems like this was a plan.
It does seem that way.
But it's also like...
It seems kind of real.
It seems real. It seems real.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a plan, but it's... Yeah.
It's kind of real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go further.
Yeah, because I remember... Even tonight, when I was listening to it again, it's been a couple weeks, and so I thought, wait, what? And then I had this memory of it being a plan, but then I wasn't sure if my memory was tricking me.
Right.
So then I was back again with the, like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, okay.
So now it's flashback time.
Let's see what happened.
Good?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay,
It's
all
good.
right.
Yeah,
Who needs sound effects?
Yeah.
This is way easier than, like, editing and plugging in music.
I love it. It's even better.
Okay. Perrin thinks back to the events of earlier today, and one part in particular where Rand has just tossed him across the Grand Hall room into a column that stops him. Perrin pushes himself up, leans against it, and thinks some of his ribs might be cracked.
Yeah, he can also like taste blood. Like this was a literal.
Yeah, the Aes Sedai can just heal him though.
They can, but
they don't.
They don't, and he wouldn't necessarily want.
No, probably not. Anyway, Rand shouts at him, "I will deal with the Aes Sedai as I choose." And Perrin says, "You handed them over to the wise ones, they could all be dead for all you know. You are not the creator.
Yeah.
And Rand is in like full rage mode and shouts, I'm the Dragon Reborn. I don't care how they're treated. They deserve a dungeon. Get out of my sight. Get out of Kyrian today. I never want to see you again.
Yeah, it's like dramatic reading of the breakup letter for sure.
Pretty much. But then at this point, Perrin is like wandering the halls kind of by himself.
Yeah.
And he thinks for a moment he was sure Rand was actually going to kill him.
Yeah, so there's like some real feelings here. So it seems like a plan.
That's why I had to like reread the whole like, this is a plot section because of all of this. Because this seems so real. And
so
I have
where
to
do you
tell
land?
you,
where do you land?
The first time I read this through and I stopped at, let's stop at this point.
Sure.
I don't know it's a plan, tricksy plan. I was like, yeah, Perrin, butt the hell out of this. Perrin's view on what should happen with the Aes Sedai this entire time has been pissing me off.
I agree, yeah.
It's been annoying as fuck. And it's like, it's not up to you. We don't protect people who do terrible, awful things to people.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, yes, are all the Aes Sedai, every single one of them at fault? No.
Yeah.
Is like some kind of trial.
But we can also
like,
expect...
should that be in place? Yes.
We can also expect the wise ones aren't going to like murder all the... That's not happening. That's not happening.
No.
So where do you land now with it was a planned fight...
But also...
on a real topic?
I think so. And I think that Rand actually can't really control... Like, I feel like you probably started out like play banishing.
Method acting. He got so into the role...
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, make it really realistic.
I want to kill you.
Right? It's like those actors who don't leave the role even when they're not, like, on camera. You hear about those kind of actors sometimes?
Sure.
You hear about it, yeah. They stay in character for, like, months.
They do?
That's a thing I've heard of. Yeah.
Jim Carrey and the Grinch.
Probably.
That's a one I heard about.
Okay, there you go.
It really messed with his mind.
Yeah.
A lot of things mess with Jim Carrey's mind, but...
That's specifically, so...
Yeah, specifically
maybe that's what Rand was doing. Got way too into the role. I'm throwing ideas at you.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it was.
Okay.
I think, if anything, this is a real topic that got a little bit out of hand, and I think that Rand is a little unhinged.
Okay. And just, like, lost control a bit. So, like, fake fight turned into real fight.
Yeah.
Because they're fighting about a real topic that they disagree about.
A real topic that they really, really disagree about.
Sure, yeah, okay. I can see that going badly. If you're going to pick a fake fight, it's like, okay.
Make it look real.
I mean, I guess so.
So, now, fast forward. Perrin is in real time again. He turns a corner and bumps into Loyal.
Yeah.
And Loyal has his bags, but it turns out he's leaving not with Perrin.
He's got a separate mission.
He does have a mission, doesn't he? But he's kind of upset about it because what about his book?
Yeah. So
I was like, you know what, Loyal? This is a pretty good mission to write about in your book.
Yeah,
like,
but he wants to really be in there. He wants to be with Rand.
I know, but this is a nice like side thing that the Dragon Reborn wanted to happen.
But
that
here's
you're
the thing.
Part of.
We get to find out here that he is going with the Ashaman named Carlden. And they're going to visit all the steadings.
Yeah.
And all the waygates.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is this mission is like, there's a lot.
But it's via gateway.
It's still a lot. Because they also have to talk to and go into all the steadings.
Oh, never mind. 90 years for each one.
Exactly. And that's it's like, this is Loyal's mission forever.
You know what? Here's the thing. We've seen Ogier be able to make quick decisions when it's important.
Sure.
We've seen that before.
Yeah.
Like the same day.
Yeah. It can happen. Not saying it can't happen, but even if it is like, doing one or two
Loyal.
a day.
See you in book 11.
See you never, buddy. Yeah. And that's Loyal's entire point.
Yeah.
Is that he's being sent off.
Kind of.
And Rand is sending off everybody close to him.
To be alone.
Because he doesn't deserve to be around anybody.
Chapter title.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, we also get a side tidbit that Rand is totally hiding from Min.
Yeah.
So the opposite of proposing, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about like...
I was wrong, turns out.
Well, we kind of talk about like, are there going to be consequences to the hookup between Rand and Min? And
it seems like it's the same. Oh, you know what? No. I'm thinking of Avienda. Remember how he was always avoiding Avienda?
Yeah.
But with Min, they were always like side by side, like he always wanted her near and they were always together.
Yeah.
Now this is sad. Oh, I was thinking, it's the same, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like a reverse thing.
Oh, because that's why he was avoiding Avienda, because they did it.
It's not good.
Shoot.
Rand isn't good at dealing with things.
No.
Okay.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, not great. But now, Perrin says goodbye to Loyal and says, don't trust anyone, you don't have to.
Yeah, and doesn't look at the Ashaman.
Ooh, and then this makes Loyal super sad. And then it's time for Perrin to be hitting the road.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because he lied to Loyal there. He said, I'm meeting Fael in the stables.
And he was not.
And that's why I really think this is such a funny...
I was like, what's happening?
It's such a funny chapter because you're like, wait, is Perrin just leaving by himself? Was this real? And he goes by himself and he starts, like, he leaves the city with nobody and just himself. And you're like, what? And Fael's not there?
I had to, like, reread the paragraph where he's, like, leaving the city.
It's like, is he getting Fael? Is Fael gone?
Says, if you look back...
Yeah.
Look back.
And what?
No, you look at your book and look back.
What do you want to know?
I want to know. There's a specific instance where he was like, I rode into the city X number of days ago.
Okay.
I want to know exactly how long it's been. I remember reading that, but I forgot to write it down.
Okay.
You look it up.
Okay, so I looked it up, and we don't get an exact time frame here, but he mentions that he's following the road that he'd come down with Rand just a few days before.
Oh, okay. Just a few days.
Yeah.
And that's when they came back from
rescuing.
Dumai's Wells.
Yeah, so they were in Cairhien, and then he left for X number of days, and then came back. So, like, they've been in Cairhien for, I guess, a bit, but, like, since
true.
returning...
But since returning, it's literally been a few days.
Yeah.
And that seems crazy, because for us, it's literally been a few months.
Yes.
Months. It's been months for us, and a few days for them. So this is, like, uber dragging on.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he's riding out of the city, and then once he gets north somewhere in some hills, and then he turns east or something.
He's like off there.
And then Fael meets up with him, who is pissed off. That part he didn't lie about.
That's true.
She is pissed off, but like, when is Fael not?
Exactly.
So...
And we don't know why at this point again, but then we find out later.
Yeah.
And this is when it starts to get funny, because this is when we start getting introduced to, like, who's actually coming on this,
Oh my god, I was like, what?
It's so funny, and it keeps going.
It's literally a clown car. It's a tiny Volkswagen Beetle with, like, 500 people.
And then and it's not like, it's like...
It's so many. It's so many people, and you're like, what's happening? Literally what's happening?
And it's like, it begins reasonably. You're like, okay, Perrin's here, and okay, Fael, and sure, Aram's here because he's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's like, makes sense that Ban and Chet are here, but then also Sulin's here, which is
and
interesting.
A dozen maidens.
Yeah, so Sulin, like Sulin is here.
The guard.
Who is now back to being a maiden.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we get the dozen maidens, and then Gaul, and it's like, yeah, okay, I guess this is like...
really, we get some, like, side quips about how he really wanted to get Bane and Chet alone, and then, like, didn't really get to. And...
Yeah, more maidens are here, and it's like... And then... when it starts to get more surprising is then Perrin thinks, and Fael's new little, like...
squad.
Yeah, the squad, the fake Aiel...
society.
Cairhienin / Terran people.
Led by Salami.
Yeah, exactly. Right? They're all here too now.
It's not Salami.
It's not.
It's
Salonda.
Salonda. But the way I remember it sounds like salami.
Yes. That's a good way to remember it.
Thanks.
You can never forget it that way.
I'm just everything is food.
Yeah.
And I'll remember it. Salami. Anyway, okay, so Salami's fake Aiel society.
Yeah. It seems like they're all coming with Fael now, so...
Well, and Fael's like, they're under my charge.
Yeah.
They're just gonna get themselves in trouble in the city. Nobody likes them.
She just wants her own little, like, I don't know.
She does want her own little society, I think.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool. Like, I'm on board with it.
Fine,
why not?
Except there's a bunch of Aiel here who clearly dislike this fake Aiel society.
But, Fael's the mediator between, like, the real Aiel and, like, the new
I don't know.
group.
She's just collecting all these strays.
Yeah.
And
That's what's happening.
And Perrin's pissed. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
All right. So then we get more people who are joining up. All the Two Rivers men are here and their horses, and the Wolfhead banner, and the Red Eagle banner, plus a dozen more maidens, 2 Ashaman.
Yep. So we've got Grady and Nield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jur Grady.
And
And Nield.
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 Okay.
Yep.
And they're like, is it super necessary to take those women?
And we're like, what are those women?
And we're like, oh yeah, the stupid society. No. The 6 wise ones and the Aes Sedai that they're in charge of.
Yeah. So everybody's coming along here. And this is the thing. So now we've got...
And Perrin's in charge of, like,
and we're not done yet. So we've got 24 Aiel.
Okay.
We've got 24 fake Aiel.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many Two Rivers men there are?
5,000.
Oh.
I don't know. 500.
About 300.
300.
Yeah. You really overshot on that first guess. No, but like, it's not, no, it's a lot.
Yeah, but sometimes we get like, oh, it's a lot. There's 40,000 men over there, and that's nothing.
Yeah,
right?
Okay. So like, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And then who else?
So for the Aes Sedai, we've got Seonid, who's a green, and we've got Missouri, who's a brown, and we've got 3 warders between the 2 of them.
Okay.
So we got like a decent little sister collection here.
Okay, but these Aes Sedai are ones who are like under the Wise Ones' watch still?
Yes, they were both part of the Saladar embassy. Mm-hmm. So they seem to be under watch, but maybe not on as tight strings as...
Okay, not like pure prisoner.
Exactly.
Okay.
So these are Saladar Aes Sedai.
And they're here to clearly like help.
Yeah.
With their mission.
Yes. They are under orders of Perrin.
And Rand.
Via Rand.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. So Perrin's like, no, everyone's coming. Let's go before we're seen.
Yes, secret
and you're like,
mission.
What the hell is happening right now?
Okay, now we're getting it.
So now it's time to get going because Grady and Neld go off and open a gateway. And Grady heads through immediately, and then everybody else goes through.
Yep. It's a whole big thing.
Yep. And then, you know what? There's a really interesting moment where Gaul is, like, complaining about the women.
Yes, this is actually really cool.
Perrin asks Grady if he has a wife. And then Grady says, yeah, I have a wife. Her name is Sora, and she's missing me right now. I learned to recognize that one right away, but I wish I knew why her knee was hurting.
Yes, and again, we're back to the old Perrin doesn't know what the heck is going on.
Perrin doesn't know. He doesn't understand what's happening.
But we can figure it out.
He's like, her knee is hurting?
Like right now?
Right now?
Right now.
And I thought, ooh, interesting. And then Grady, sort of off in his own world, is like, oh, yeah, we sort of figured out bonding.
Yep, 100%.
And we did it with our wives so that we could feel where they were and stuff when we're gone.
Which is, like, super sweet.
I love that.
Like, really nice and lovely for the Ashaman.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because only about a third of them who had wives still have wives.
Well, a third have wives there, from what we know. So a third are married.
It sounded like...
Still have wives.
It sounded like a bunch of wives ran away.
Definitely probably did happen, but very nice. Very sweet and lovely.
It's a nice gesture, especially considering the Aes Sedai warder bond is mostly, that we've seen anyway, kind of not romantic. Like,
yes.
I know it can be.
Yeah.
But mostly it's like, your job is to protect me.
Yeah, it's like a professional relationship, but used for husband and wife. It's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's pretty serious, though, because of what we know about when a warder or an Aes Sedai pass away, like, what, it drives the other one crazy.
Yeah, now, technically, we don't know if it's the exact same effect.
Right.
We know that it's similar because some guy named Candler figured it out, and even though time doesn't want them, like, trying to figure stuff out on their own, which makes sense, but cat's out of the bag now, so now it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So we don't actually know if it's the exact same kind of bond, or if it's just similar imitation.
Okay. All right, so then we get some more stuff about the whole gateway. There's extra horses, servants, and a bunch of supply carts. Like, they're here to stay.
Yep, we're doing this thing.
And then mic drop because Amyrlin strolls on through, followed by 900 of her winged guards.
Yeah.
And immediately there's this tension between Bail and Amyrlin because they agree on something.
Yeah.
And that's where the tension stems from.
It's just like...
I think they agree on Perrin being stupid or something like that.
Well, probably.
I don't remember it specifically.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty much right. They both agree that Perrin shouldn't be talking as much as he's talking to everybody. Okay,
so here we go. Perrin starts talking.
Yeah.
He starts telling everybody what's going on because everybody now is here, and it's all making sense.
Yeah, so there's probably around 1,500 to 2,000 people between all the army, all the servants. We don't know how many wagons and stuff, but
I wonder how much Massima has now.
Yeah, probably more than that, but like we don't know for sure.
But they're all kind of crazy.
They are.
So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
We'll have to read and find out.
All right, let's share what Perrin actually says here.
Yeah.
So he makes an announcement for everyone to hear and says, as far as anyone back in Kyrian knows, I've been banished. The first of my end is on her way home, and the rest of you have just disappeared. Some people start like cheering. They're like,
yeah, let's do this. Secret mission.
Woo! And then he keeps going. And he's like, you might be wondering where we are and why. This is Gildan.
Yeah,
and the first thing we have to do is convince Queen, what's-her-face?
Alejandra.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, the ones who gives her rings.
Yes.
Right?
The one who also sent a secret note to Rand.
Oh.
Yes. Did you forget about that?
Yes.
Okay, I brought it up.
Of course I forgot about
So, back in Lord of Chaos, chapter 28, Alejandra sent the letter to Rand that was super cryptic, and it said, Cousin, the times are delicate, but I felt I must write to assure you of my goodwill, and to express my hopes of yours in return. Never fear, I know you and acknowledge you, but there are those who would not smile on anyone who approached you save through them. I ask nothing save that you hold my confidences in the fires of your heart, and then signed Alejandra Maritha.
Okay.
So, it was cryptic because we know that she's stuck between the White Cloaks and the Prophet, so she can't tell Rand, like, hey, I'm on your side.
The fourth queen in, 3 months.
Very short amount of time, and she's staying alive, but she says to Rand that she's on his side, but then also tells him to, burn the letter, so it seems like Rand knows this about Alejandra, because he figured it out right away.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Here we
he's
are.
Sending
which is interesting,
Perrin to deal with
considering
this.
that he wanted Perrin to go to Tyr, unless that was just a ruse also. But
maybe, but plans kind of seem to have shifted, so...
They certainly have, and I couldn't even have even remotely predicted this.
Yeah.
This is just out of complete nowhere.
A little bit.
Yeah, so Perrin says we gotta convince this queen we're not here to invade, and then we're gonna go find the fellow called the Prophet of the Lord Dragon and tell him to stop scaring people into following him.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And then, anybody who wants to go back and actually follow the Lord Dragon can come. Yeah. So it's a very interesting plan.
And that's where the chapter ends.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the, 1,000-pound elephant in the room being the White Cloaks.
Who are off
and now currently on their way to deal with
the Prophet.
And now we've got Perrin and his people.
Because we have Eamon Valda and Asunawa.
Yeah,
they both went.
And thousands of White Cloaks.
Thousands of White Cloaks. But we don't know specifically if it's the White Cloaks that Perrin has encountered before. Hey, listen. In our Q&A the other day, someone asked us, I think it was Tyler, about patterns that we see emerging.
Sure.
And how we feel about them. And I just recognized that there's the pattern of Perrin dealing with White Cloaks.
Yeah.
Always.
Always
Perrin is dealing with these freaking
and they
White
hate him because of his dark friend yellow eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Okay. All right, let's take a quick break and then come back for chapter 28.
Sounds good.
Okay, I got my drink refilled. Ready to go. Ready to switch gears into a matte perspective.
Yeah, and I gotta say this just at the beginning because the chapter title is Bread and Cheese.
I love bread and cheese.
And from a completely personal appreciation for the food that he gets to eat, bread, cheese, and olives, I absolutely love those foods.
I know, but you also love
under the context
all of the roast beefs and baked fish and delicious foods that he doesn't get to eat.
And I get that, and I understand what's happening here. I just had to say it. I love bread and cheese and olives.
I do have in my notes. Wow, that sounds great.
Amazing.
And I was going to ask you if the next time we have a little date night, if you wanted to do wine and cheese night.
I would absolutely love to, as long as there's olives.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe different varieties.
Oh, my. Getting fancy.
Yeah.
See, the issue is there's no wine. He doesn't get to drink wine. He only gets to drink, the water from his wash bin or something.
Yeah.
Also not good. So, anyways, okay.
It's not good for Matt.
It's terrible.
None of
it's
this is
it's
good.
horrible.
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad for Matt.
Again, it's going to get worse before it gets worse, and then, he'll deal.
And then maybe
or he won't.
Get better.
Maybe.
Maybe it'll get better.
Sure.
Oh, I don't think it's going to get better. Okay, so let's get into it, though. Chapter 28, Bread and Cheese. The chapter symbol is the 5 dice for Matt.
Yep.
So we got classic, back-to-back wolf dice.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. Matt perspective. Matt is officially moved in to the palace.
Yeah, so it's like same day.
Yeah.
Because he just moved in.
Just moved in.
Nynaeve and Elaine,
Yeah.
previously, if you remember, they were like,
literally left.
you're too hungover.
Yeah.
Take the morning. Move into the
in.
palace. Yep.
We're going to go for a walk.
Yep. Just
With-
for a casual walk.
Casual walk to have some tea with the mistress's friends.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Nothing else. Nothing funky going on.
Yeah, and he thinks about how he, could have refused, but he didn't because he wanted to know why the dice in his head stopped spinning when Nynaeve and Elaine told him to move in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like things are going great for him.
No, not really.
No. And I'm still also trying to figure out, I thought I knew the dice thing.
Sure.
I thought it was, to do with his luck. And then it turns out, no.
No. It means an event is going to happen or has just happened.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's basically the
I know.
simplest way.
I thought I figured it out. And then, right at the end of this chapter...
Something important has happened.
Or going to happen.
And then once the dice stop, it's like, ooh, the event just happened. But it's, super, vague.
Yeah.
Because they stopped when he, went into Mr. Sinan's inn in the first place.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
I thought that's when they started.
I think they stopped at that, but they stopped.
No, they started.
And they overlap.
No, they started then.
No, they stopped.
No, they started.
They stopped.
When he went into the inn, they started.
For the first time?
And they kept rolling and rolling and rolling.
No, they stopped.
And he's like, these dice won't stop. The whole time. They've been here for 3 days, and the dice have been rolling the whole time.
The original, I'm talking the original The Wandering Woman chapter.
I thought that's when they started.
Okay, so we took a couple minutes, we looked it up, and I am correct. But here's the thing.
When did they start again?
Before that, but this is the thing, they do overlap.
They stopped when he got to the inn.
Yeah, because he comes into he's like, I feel like I've come home, and then they stop.
Ooh.
And it's like, oh, why is that important? But then they start and stop a whole bunch all the time.
The baby Mistress and thing, but that's for the women.
Yeah, so I mean, we can talk about...
But they started again at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they stop and start all the time.
After the Queen Tylan thing, maybe? Around then? That seemed important. The original, note leaving.
Okay.
With the Aes Sedai chapter.
I can look up exactly when they stop and start because that is logged, but I mean...
It started again after that.
Yeah.
And then rolled and rolled
and
rolled.
you keep ignoring me, but I keep telling you, sometimes there's, sets of dice that overlap.
What?
It's yeah, I mean, it's just okay, it doesn't matter.
He's playing 2 separate games of Yahtzee?
That's
what you want me to believe
He's not doing anything, he's just going with it. That's the issue.
No.
But let's get back to it. So he's moved in, and all of his men have different opinions on the moving in to the palace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nalisian's loving it because he hates poor people.
Yes.
And he likes royalty.
And I want to be with my own kind. It's fuck you, Nalisian.
Yeah, he's the worst. He's terrible.
Fuck you. All right.
And then Vannon doesn't like nobles, the super thief, but he really likes the Lady Elaine. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And then it's also really snuck in here, but apparently Vannon has reported that Carradine Street is so full of beggars that it's hard to see anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, beggars, right? And then he's got lots of people calling him, but that's not specifically, bad because he is an ambassador for the White Cloak, so he is important. But I mean, we know who he is.
He's disguised in his position pretty well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Matt goes to settle his bill with Mistress Anan.
Yep.
But
she's gone.
Kara's there.
Yeah, and we know why she's gone.
She's in a bad mood, and Mistress Anan is out.
Yeah, with Nynaeve and Elaine.
That's
happening right now.
Yeah, and so the kitchen lady has, to deal with him.
Yes.
And says a bunch of stuff about squeezing too many melons. Too many melons.
Yeah, Matt doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what's happening.
He's like, okay, lady.
Yeah.
Okay, and then eventually, Matt and all his men make it into the palace, and Matt's rooms are nice and big, and Naram
Oh, yeah.
is a fan of it all.
Big fan.
And you know what? We're gonna get Matt's coats clean.
Yeah, finally, decent rooms for my lord.
Yeah. I don't think that he's a bad guy anymore. Remember I had
Oh my god, yeah, you did for a second. You were like, oh, evil or something?
That was kind of funny.
That was.
Because he was like hiding his frying pan.
Right, that's why.
I was like,
okay.
why is he hiding it?
Yeah, he's like, he came to rescue Matt. He's being super brave. You're suspicious of the wrong people all the time. I
can be suspicious of whomever I choose.
Yeah. And just for the record, the description of this room is so long that it includes a clock and the chamber pot.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm skipping it.
I know.
I didn't write any of it down.
I know, but I had to say it.
All right. So Matt gets settled in. He's grumbling to himself. And then freaking Queen Tylan is suddenly there calling on him.
Yep.
And calling him a succulent little duckling.
Yeah.
And Matt's like, what the frick is happening? This is the worst. He tries to be polite because she is the queen.
Yeah.
And he's like, thanks for my rooms. You know, I'd love to talk, but I really gotta go. And she starts towards him, and Matt laughs nervously and tries to put a table between them.
He does the Ralph Wiggum, like, back of the school bus. I'm in danger.
Oh my god.
Right?
It's so sad though. Like it's not funny at all.
Oh,
like,
it's not.
I feel like back to back sexual assault chapters.
Yeah, it's not good. And the only thing, like, it's really bad.
You know, I'm kind of like happy we had the break between the last chapters and these chapters because, you know, you sort of get like a reprieve, a breath of like. But if you're reading all of these back to back,
oh, I know.
Oh my gosh! Enough, Robert Jordan.
Well, okay.
Maybe.
I mean, he's painting a picture of it's like it's all bad things are happening to all of our good guys.
Why does it all have to be sexual assault? And one is not to I guess more gays.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like Mogedian, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that for sure.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
It's all not good.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one said this story was going to be happy-go-lucky for everybody all the time.
I told you this would happen again. I said this was bad news, and I was right.
You were right.
This was an obvious one.
Yeah.
So Matt's like, oh no, and then he's trapped, especially because she's got some knives on her.
Yeah.
Not that she's like, she's not gonna pull knives on him, though, probably.
I mean, but that's the thing, is like, they're Abu Dari, like, would they pull a knife on, like, would she?
I don't know. So she starts, like, actually sexually assaulting him, trying to take off his clothes, kissing him. He's struggling, protesting against it. She's not listening to him, laughing at his protests.
Yeah, he's saying, like, oh, someone's going to come in. He even does the whole, like, I got a girl back home. And then she laughs and she says, well, what she doesn't know can't hurt her. And it's like, okay, Tylan lost a lot of... Like, she was pretty good in her books with Nynaeve and Elaine. Like, you kind of like her. And here, you're just, you know, you're being just a terrible person.
Oh, yeah. Well, even, like... back with the son, I don't know. He was all weird.
Yeah.
So now somebody at this point does knock at the door, and Matt's like, "Come in."
Yeah.
Who is it?
Immediately. Yep.
And then Tylan is immediately off his lap, away from him, and Tom and Julian are here. Tom sticks his head in, sees the scene, and is like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
And Matt's like, no, come in. I haven't seen you. Come on in. He tries to stand up, but his pants are undone.
So he doesn't stand up.
But Tom and Julian can see what's happening here. And they're like, you sly dog. And Matt's like, no.
See, I didn't actually get that impression. Because Tom, the way Tom says, he's like, hey, I guess you're lucky that the queen is, you know, welcoming you herself. But then Julian is very interested in his cap. Like, he's not making eye contact. There's no... like, wink, wink, nudge, nudging for Matt here. There's none of that going on.
I got it was like they understood that there was something going on here that they interrupted.
I agree that I think they know that but I never got the impression here that they're like, good job, buddy.
Oh.
Like, I am not reading that. I mean, if you want to go back and reread it.
No, I appreciate your take on it because I thought Tom was like, wow, you're so lucky. The queen is here to welcome you herself.
Yeah, and I read it as Tom's being like, you got to deal with this one yourself, buddy. Like, this is the queen, and Tom knows what's up with the whole...
Clearly.
Like, he gets it.
Clearly. Yeah, you're definitely right, but that's not how I initially read it.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, because with the whole, like, not making eye contact, it was like, oh, they're clearly in the middle of something that we walked in on. Like... Yeah. Right? Anyway, so Tylan says something gross and leaves. And then Matt asks about Nynaeve and Elaine.
Yes.
And turns out they're not back yet.
Because?
They are being also assaulted.
Yeah, in the street. And maybe trying to get kidnapped. Like, maybe that's happening around at this point, so...
Yeah.
Or, like, soon.
Yeah. So, like, not great things are happening. So, Matt thinks they're just trying to get out of their agreement that they made with him.
Because he's supposed to be able to send guards with them everywhere.
Right, but Julian's like, I don't think they're searching for Caridan because I already know that Avienda and Brigida are doing that.
Yeah.
And then they fill Matt in on the whole Nynaeve Elaine creating disguises thing to, like, hide their identities with the power, because that literally happened last night.
Yes.
We are...
Boobs out. The whole scene.
It's been a while for us, but it's literally... That was last night.
Yeah. Yep. That's what's happening.
And then it was last night that Brigida got drunk with Matt.
Yeah.
And Matt's super hungover here still.
Correct.
Like,
That's all just happened.
It's all happening here. So, now, Tom and Julian get ready for a trip to the Rahad, and Matt goes to check on Oliver and to check in on his men.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. So, Matt sits down to wait for the women to turn up, and he can't really focus on anything. And finally, they show up, and he asks where they were.
Yeah, I mean, we got the obligatory Travels of Jane Farsighter.
Yeah, we did.
It's everybody's favorite book.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Even Matt, who's not fond of reading.
Likes it. Who doesn't like?
Picked it up to look at it.
Who doesn't like it?
Yeah.
Because also, yeah, later on, I think, is Oliver reading it again or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, now, Nynaeve and Elaine are like, oh, we just went for a walk. We just had tea with your innkeeper. And Matt tells them that he's got a schedule in place for his men to act as bodyguards for them starting right now and for the foreseeable future. And he expects them to start complaining. But Elaine says, oh, that's wonderful.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
Because they almost got kidnapped.
They literally were attacked today in the street.
Yeah.
Now, it's very funny. In the audiobook, Michael Kramer's accent for Elaine.
Oh my goodness.
Sounds literally like the Queen of England.
Oh,
push. Oh, yes. Like, I don't know. That's probably terrible.
That's
but
great.
It's like literally like, that's very smart of you to have a schedule. Like, it's so like he says the word schedule.
Yeah.
Not schedule.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then Nynaeve is like, meh, like,
that's a perfect impression. I love it. She doesn't even need, like, dialogue.
It's so funny because normally when we get Nynaeve and Elaine, we're in Kate Redding's perspective.
Yeah.
And we get her accents for them. But getting Michael Kramer's accents for Elaine and Nynaeve in this chapter were like
wonderful.
My favorite thing about listening to this chapter. So that was very funny. So anyway, Elaine says, oh, that's wonderful news. Very smart of you. And Nynaeve agrees. And Matt's like, oh, there must have been some sort of trouble here.
Yeah, something happened to make you agreeable now. So what was it? But even Tom picks up on that too.
Right.
Because that's
now,
shocking.
At this point, he doesn't end up in the Rahad looking for a cloud bowl.
Nope.
He ends up sitting on a bench in front of a cheap tavern drinking, wondering what they're doing here.
Yeah, because they're at the only place where they can drink, like, inconspicuously and watch the house. Mm-hmm. And that's what we get. That's
I like
where they
that
are.
there are cups chained to the
tables.
Yeah.
It's like, don't
so
steal
you
the
can't
cups.
Steal them.
Well, here's a better question. How do you wash them?
Well, you rinse them out. You bring
just
over
like
a
the
pitcher of water,
oh, man.
probably.
Okay.
Slosh it. Dump it.
No dishwashers, no nothing in the back.
No,
okay.
Nope, nothing like that.
All right.
But Matt does make a note that this place at least does rinse out the cups between patrons.
Phew.
So.
As others don't.
As others don't, exactly. And my favorite line is when Nelisian's like, what are we doing here? And Matt's like, I'm being Taviran.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not how any of this works.
Yeah,
this is
not
not
at
how
all.
any of this works, everybody.
But I mean, maybe.
No.
Right?
No.
Doing nothing?
No.
That's a plan.
No, this is something specifically like designated for Matt to do. This isn't random.
Yeah.
This isn't how any of this works for him.
Okay, you're right.
But I do like when he starts at random choosing women to follow.
Yeah.
To see if that leads to anything. And I was like, ooh, maybe.
And then no,
and
it doesn't. Like
and
literally
he's like,
nothing.
I'm going to randomly walk down this alley. Nothing.
Nothing. What's the point?
This is all very boring.
Yeah. We're waiting.
Matt's bored.
We're
I'm
biding
bored.
time.
And we get that Matt is still hungover, and I went, right, it's still
the same day.
day.
It's like just the afternoon now, and I understand that.
Yeah, all day hangover.
Yeah. And
but
now it's like
drinking
you need to start
help.
drinking again so that the hangover gets kicked.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it off.
You need like a good Caesar to help.
Good Caesar.
And I don't think they have that here.
Well, it's not in Canada, so...
No.
Although the Abu Dhabi apologized like they're in Canada.
That's true.
Maybe they have Caesars here.
Possibly. Plus, Clamato.
Yeah.
They're
so
close to the water.
For
Could
people
be clams.
who don't know,
yeah.
like Clamato juice is like clam tomato juice, which sounds weird.
It's not a Bloody Mary.
It's a better Bloody Mary.
It's like a delicious Bloody Mary.
Like, yeah.
Bloody Marys are garbage
Bloody
compared
Mary's
to
made
Caesars.
with tomato juice.
Yeah.
And vodka and spices and stuff.
Yeah.
And a Caesar's made with Clamato juice.
Yeah.
Invented in Calgary, Alberta.
Ah, interesting.
How about that?
I didn't know that.
How about that for an impromptu Caesar fact?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You probably did.
No, I had no idea.
What?
Why would I know that?
I don't know. Classic fact. Okay, so after basically a whole day of nothing,
Yep.
Matt goes back to his room. He finds a note that says, "My little rabbit, I expect you for dinner in my apartments tonight." And Matt is not going to be doing that.
Yep.
So he locks his door, jams a chair comically under the latch,
Smart though.
goes to bed without dinner.
Yeah, and the door rattles because
and then
someone
a
tried.
woman laughs
Yeah.
at the locked door.
So like, oh my god, is that actually Tyler? Or is that like a
Yes.
maid? Because they're all like, who else is in on this nonsense?
Yeah, everybody.
Probably everybody.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I don't really understand. It's wild.
Yeah, and this is when Matt thinks, oh, I have thought of a good use for the sulking room, which is like what the room is called or whatever. So.
Eventually, yeah, we do get to that.
Yeah.
But in this instance, Matt does not sleep well. He even thinks that Tylen might try to like get a ladder and climb up to his balcony.
Like, who knows what
and,
she's
like,
gonna
bust
do.
into his room and like, oh my god, this is so bad.
Yeah.
This is awful.
Yeah.
So, at the first sign of light, Matt sneaks out of his rooms, and all the servants are clearly in on this. They're giving him looks and whatever. But it seems like Elena and Nynaeve don't really exactly get what's happening here.
Yeah, or they're not around to see it.
But they do give him a lecture about missing dinner with the queen and how he needs to put his best foot forward and he better not offend the queen.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve gives him a rant about how he better not try any of his tricks with this decent woman.
Yeah, so they don't seem like they have any
they
idea
have
what's
no
going
idea.
on. Yeah.
And then now we get some more updates that Vannon has learned
Super spy guy.
about visiting Carradine. And this is kind of the stuff we already talked about.
Yeah, and that there's like no
There's visitors,
news.
but lots of beggars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to really actually tell.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we spent so much time in the span of 24 hours, and now we're going to fast forward like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Which is like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now when is Lan showing up? Because, like, I thought that was going to happen relatively soon.
Yeah, so it's really hard to like line up.
Fast forwarding.
Yeah.
Like at least 3 days here because Matt spends 2 more days hanging out around the house.
So if anything, it's got to be like any moment now.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And to be fair, we're not with Nynaeve in this perspective.
That's true.
But we are fast forward. We're moving along. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Any moment now.
Any second.
Any moment now.
Right around the corner.
In case you forgot.
Yes.
Lan is coming.
Right.
He is showing up here.
Yes. For Nynaeve.
He is.
For love.
He is doing it.
He's doing her.
Not yet.
Maybe.
Gotta get here first.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, a bit of a montage about watching this house where nothing's happening, and also the relationship forming between Matt and Brigitte, because...
Yeah, she's actually jumping in on that.
Yeah, they're friends.
Yeah.
And he actually, likes her as a friend. Plus, he thinks it would be insulting if she found him attractive.
Yes.
Because she's
only likes ugly people.
attracted to ugly people. So
and that would be mean if she likes him, so...
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love his, thought. It's actually kind of a funny... Because it goes on for quite a long time. Long time. But is Matt working through his feelings about her as like a platonic friend.
He's like
because he thinks
confused about it.
But also he's like, girls can be friends because there are girls that are just friends, like Egwene and Nynaeve, I guess, if
and
we're
Elaine,
maybe friends
kind
or whatever.
of, yeah.
So he's like, okay, I kind of get that, so maybe she fits in there, but...
And then he's like, oh, but you always know that the women think differently than you, so...
But then it's nice because Brigida actually thinks more like him.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, check out that chick, and
but
she's going to go hit on dudes, and
she's gonna
it's
cut
all
your
cool.
throat. Be careful. Yeah.
Love it. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Now, then we learn that nobody else is having any luck either because Nynaeve, Elaine, Avienda are all wandering around.
Yep.
Around Carradine's house, finding out nothing except for the baker's thing.
Yeah.
And Elaine is following this Giotto from Avienda's perspective, and Matt doesn't understand what's happening, but Elaine will, like, snap at Matt, look down her nose at him, Avienda will whisper in her ear, Elaine will profusely apologize, and then Avienda will nod in approval.
Yeah.
And Matt is looking to Avienda for the nod to make sure everything's okay, but he has no idea what's happening.
No idea.
And he blames it on women being confusing.
And that's, that's fair. It is very confusing.
It's confusing, but it's not a women thing, it's an Aiel thing.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's an also women thing.
Yeah, it's like, it's a little bit, and it's like, it's an Elaine thing, and it's an Avienda thing.
It's a specific thing. It's a very specific thing. People are confusing. People are confusing.
Yeah.
All right, we also get note that Tom has reported Carradine is giving money to beggars frequently.
Yeah.
So that's just his dark friends that he's paying.
For sure, because
to
we've seen Carradine's point of view where it's like everybody's garbage.
Everybody's garbage, but he also gives money to, like, the other dark friend to, like, do stuff with.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we know it's like him not just being charitable.
Yeah.
He's totally paying dark friends
100%
for stuff.
That's right. So now, at this point, it's like 2 or 3 days later, Matt gets back to his room and he sees that his plan for this sulking room, I don't even really know what that means.
Because he's like a central, like, lobby area, whatever.
Okay.
And he's got, like, his room, and then Narum has a room off of the room. So it's like apartments, it's rooms.
So he set Oliver up with a bed in there.
Yes.
And he's like, just try to let Tylan see and do anything with me with a child in the room.
Exactly.
And I bet that won't stop her.
Oh, yeah, probably not. But,
no.
Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, Oliver's also reading Travels Jane Farstrider.
Right.
Got it.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Okay, and at this point, Matt is still not allowed to eat food in the palace.
For days.
So he's been eating, like, garbage tavern food.
Yeah.
And at this point, he knows to bring bread, olives, and cheese back for himself to eat. And I said, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But also drinking water from his wash bin and stuff. So, like, that's not great.
Oh, yeah, it's all bad.
But, to be fair, it's probably completely clean because I don't think Matt's washing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just clean water.
Yeah.
Sounds gross, but it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's only been a couple days.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's fine. Now, it's the last night of this chapter, and I'm still not 100% on how many days it's actually been.
Sure.
But there's no more notes for him. Nobody's rattling the locks. And tomorrow is the Festival of Birds. Like, there's always something going on around here.
Yeah, we're doing this.
Because it was, like, just Swoven night.
Yeah, but you know what this means. It's party time with Veslin.
Oh,
woo.
No.
Yeah, we're doing this.
All right.
Right?
So we heard a lot about there's, like, costumes, which I assume are, like...
Birds.
Flamingo dancers.
Yeah, maybe.
Flamenco. Not flamingo.
Right.
But they might be dressed
These will be flamingos. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's hoping that by tomorrow, Tylan finds a new man to chase after, and then someone comes out of that house, hands him the Bowl of the Winds, and everything just gets better. Then on the third morning in the palace.
There we go.
So that's how long it's been.
There we go.
I'm still not 100%. I don't know.
Okay.
The dice start rolling in his head.
There we go.
Which is less ominous than it used to, because I thought like a huge thing was going to happen every time.
How do you know that these aren't big events?
Because they seem
just because they're not
medium.
big to you doesn't mean they're not big to Matt.
Right. All right. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I'm excited to read on. It's been a while for me. I just want to read. I just want to read a book.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I want to read a book that's not a journal article.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what.
Okay.
My class is almost over for this semester, so I'm excited. I'm excited for that and have a little bit of free time. But all right, cool. I really don't have much except for Lance coming.
Right.
Lana's coming, and Perrin's going to interact with White Cloaks.
Awesome.
Those are the two main predictions. Write them down. Put them on the board.
Okay, to be fair, we have to travel all the way maybe across Gildan first. We need like days of traveling, right? Marching and wagons and things like that before
Boring.
Right? That's important. It's important for the plot.
At some point, Perrin will have to interact with White Cloaks.
Wolves, maybe?
Maybe.
Wolves can eat the White Cloaks again.
I don't know, though, because word has probably traveled. The wolves were not happy about that.
Shoot, yeah, right.
They were not happy about that.
The Dumais yeah.
And that
some
was
of
not
them,
long ago.
Some of them weren't happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mention. I did sort of, but I'm really happy about this Berylane switcheroo.
How so?
Because I was really upset with Rand for dictating about where she should go for her own protection.
Okay.
I didn't like that he did that, and turns out it was like, I don't know if it was Trixie or if he just changed his mind.
About where she should go? Well, she's out of Kyrian.
That's true, but I didn't like him just like completely just like sending her away.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she got some input in this.
Yeah.
And she actually has a role now. And it's not just leave because it's too dangerous here for you. It's like leave because I need you to help me somewhere else. And that I appreciate. I like that.
Yeah, that's
I like
fair.
that much better than just like go back to Mayenne and be safe. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, no, I get it. Gives her a task.
Okay, cool. I just had to say that. And did I say that Lan's going to show up soon?
You did. I think so.
Oh, I feel it. I feel it in my bones.
Right away. Maybe.
Next chapter.
Okay. Maybe. As a bird. Bird costume Lan.
No?
Okay, you have to go read. Okay, we're done. No more guessing.
All right. So before you go and accidentally become friends with someone of, gasp, the opposite sex, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Vince Lewick, and Margaret, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.